Okay, guys, welcome to the Rondo Show. Welcome to the final of the Rondo Show, our Euro-themed show. The season is over. The Euros are, when this comes out, the Euros will be soon once this comes out. So, guys, we are here for the final. It's your judge and co-host, AA. I am joined by my other judge and co-host,
Marcus O'Neill, you know what it is.
and our finalists today, two real neeks when it comes to football knowledge now, but also two great guys. My guy Joe, tell them about yourself.
Yeah, it's Joel here in the final. Should be a good game. With your opponent, obviously.
Cool. Repping England for the Euros? You are, aren't you?
Yeah, cool.
Said that in the
Three
semis.
Lions, man.
Khadar, you've told us that you're repping England for these Euros. Tell them a bit more about yourself. How are you feeling today?
I'm good, man. Obviously,
Confident?
yeah, man. I'm so British. I grew up in the East End of London, proper geezer. So I'm supporting England.
Come on.
But if they go out, I won't be sad.
All right. And we're both feeling. Now, who's winning?
The Euros.
Who's got no?
This
No,
is
Forget the Euros, man. The Rondo Show.
Serious, this is a real final.
Go back myself. Innit?
Okay.
Go back
He'll
yourself,
back
of course.
himself as well. Yeah.
Okay, without further ado, let's get quickly started with things. Okay, so the first round, Engage the Rondo. Engage the Rondo is the first round of the Rondo Show. Contestants present a take on the show's topic and are grilled to test its strength. They are then rated by the judges. Let's go through how it will work. Contestants are to come forward to present a bold football take for a maximum of 60 seconds. The Rondo will then begin. It will commence with what we call first pass free. So the judges will instruct their rival contestant to ask a challenging question on their take. After this is answered, the judges will get involved and lead full-on grilling. The Rondo is in full motion. They will then receive a score out of 10 from each judge for the first round, utilizing our ACE framework: audacity, credibility, and explanation. The contestant score from each judge will then be averaged out of 10 and the winner will be announced for the first round. Joe, you're going to start?
So my Rondo's about France, yeah. And I feel like if France don't win the Euros this year, then they can't go down as the best team in this generation, like of international football, and that will be Argentina's title. And the next gen will have to, the next gen will progress from there. So that's my Rondo.
All right, sweet. Okay.
The time starts now.
So when you look at international teams and their successes in their generations, if you look at the 90s, the mid to late 90s with Brazil, and you look at the turn of the 2010s with Spain, you win a World Cup, but you also win your continental titles as well. You win more than one trophy. So with Brazil, they won 2 World Cups in 3 editions. They made the final in one of them, and they won 2 Copa Americas. They won 3 if you count it to 2004 as well, but if you want to cut it off between 94 and 02. Same with Spain. They won a Euros in 08, a World Cup in 2010, and a Euros in 2012. So they've won 3 trophies. France, if you look at it even from 2016, they lost in the final of the Euros. Then they won the World Cup. But then they had a very disappointing Euros after that. They lost to, I think, Switzerland in the quarterfinals. And then in the World Cup, they didn't win again. So I feel like the pressure is on them more than maybe any other country to cement themselves as the best of this generation. If you look at Argentina, on the other hand, they've won their continental trophy. They won the Copa America. They won the Finalissimo. And then they won the World Cup. And they're in the Copa America again this year. So they've won 2 trophies in this generation. France have only won 1. So I feel like France need to match them in terms of trophies if you want to see them as the premier team of this generation. Otherwise, it is Argentina's era.
Hey, that was good, fam. that was good, fam.
Bro,
Oh, proper Rondo.
Hey, that's a whole Rondo. Analysis as well.
all right, grilling. First pass free.
First pass free. Try and grill that.
Hey, brother. Okay, you say that France, they need to prove themselves by winning this Euro. Would you not say that the Euros is a much tougher competition in terms of the teams that you come up against than the Copa America? So that's why France maybe went out they lost in 2016 or they went out in the quarterfinals in the recent one.
The issue is, when you've seen France beat the best teams in Europe in 2018, so they beat Belgium and we all agreed that was like probably the final basically, and they've beaten Croatia in the final. Two very good teams in Europe. And you see that then they go into the next Euros and they lose to an unfancy team, Switzerland. And if you look at the path to the final, they'd have come up against, I think Switzerland then played, I forgot who they played, but if they went through in that stage of the finals, they would probably have had a more favourable draw and they'd have played England or Italy in the final. And I feel like they are better than those 2 teams. If you look at Italy, they failed to qualify for tournaments. England, they just don't have France's number as we saw in the World Cup. So I feel like, even though the Copa America is you'd say it's easier in terms of a big team winning it, you still have to win it. And I still feel like France had the opportunity in Euro 2020, when they were the best team in Europe to win it again. And they lost to a team that no one really thought they would lose to.
Yeah.
So I think the issue there is that I think if they got past Switzerland, you'd see them as favourites anyway. So.
I don't have anything to go them on, I'll be honest with you.
There we go, Rondo.
I think that was the main argument against. Yeah. I don't think I have much to add.
I've got one more.
Alright, go on.
Would you say that the World Cup final, obviously probably the best full match of all time, they lost on penalties? Then again, you got to win the penalty shootout to win the tournament. However, would you really say that that's really a showing of Argentina's superiority over France? When they came up against each other, the game in open play was equal, but obviously France, they just didn't have the bottle, which is an argument. It's a valid point, but would you say that's really a good demonstration?
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it, like, that was the struggle between the two big powers of this generation, and you just have to find a way to win. So I feel like, people talk about, like, say when Arsenal and Man United were battling for titles and Man United were going for the treble and we lost in the cup semi-final and we lost in the final day of the league. Those are fine margins as well, but at the end of the day, history looks back at who wins, and the era-defining moments are made by winners, isn't it? So Argentina winning on the penalties, yeah, it was a close game. France were very good, and Mbappe was a brilliant performer in the game, but Argentina got the job done, and that's the World Cup, which add to the Copa America. So I feel like France have to catch up now. So.
Good second point, Khadar.
Yeah, it's a good point. If France had won that penalty shootout, it might be a different story.
Yeah,
it would be a different story.
Definitely be a different story.
So I'm going to score you now. On the ace credibility, obviously, that's audacity, credibility, and explanation. With audacity, I thought it was a very audacious argument. But what I would say is I believed it 100% at the end of it. I started off thinking, where's he going with this? But then I was like, yeah, he's actually right. Yeah. He brought up stats, he brought up past tournaments, he gave me a whole picture and he presented it in that minute's time as well. And all the questions you threw at him, he always had a good answer that actually made sense to me. And this is going to be the first time we have a 10 on the Rondo.
10 like Messi.
Congratulations.
10.
Cold.
10.
JK.
Okay. Audacity, I feel like fairly audacious. No, quite strongly audacious, but I think like people would say that they expect France to win this tournament. So I don't think I didn't find it as crazy as Marcus did, but it drew me in, which is what you always want. Credibility, I thought it was like very credible. A lot of that came from your explanation. So that it almost makes me kind of give you more credit for what you did over that argument. In terms of explanation, I thought the explanation was close to flawless. Like, it was broken down so well. I mean, I applauded you as everybody else did. And it was crisp in the minute as well. Like, stat stuff, like, guys.
It's a final performance.
You know when
It's
you're
a
a
final.
teacher
It's a big
and you're
game
like, a judge. You know when you're a judge and you're so happy about, like, the way someone has answered the question, like on the mark scheme, you're just like
Tick, tick,
tick,
tick,
tick,
tick.
tick. Like guys, like who are coming onto the show in the future, you
Watch that one.
You rubbish on the customer. Watch that. You
That's
know
a
when you got like
masterclass.
the best thing in the customer, you want to hold up his work
That's
and say
it.
this is what I'm talking about. So yeah, it was. But to be fair enough, I thought Khadar did well. 'Cause I didn't even know how to really agree on what you said in terms of asking about that question on. Sorry, Khadar, what was your first point again?
The first point was the Copa America point. The Copa America being a
easier
weekend
then.
tournament.
Yeah, weaker tournament. I thought that was good. I thought that took a little bit away. Then I thought the fact that Argentina only beat them on penalties in that game. So I thought your original argument, I agreed that France definitely won't be the bona fide best team over a period. But with the points that Khadar mentioned, I disagreed that Argentina might necessarily be the best. Instead, maybe the best team. I feel like it might just be a bit of a even period. We had two great teams over the time. So because of that, a 9.5. I think Khadar just took a 0.5 off for me.
I disagree with you because I feel like the way he answered Kadar's question was flawless as well.
But
You ready, Khadar?
Yeah, apparently.
That was a finals performance, man.
It's a serious performance.
Big game player, man. Come like Vinny.
Ready, boys?
yeah, ready, man.
All right, cool. England's run to the 2021 Euros final was the easiest run in recent memory, which is, I believe, since 2000.
Time starts now.
Well, if you look at England's group, they had Croatia, which was 3 years off their world run to the World Cup. Modric is older, Mandzukic is older. A lot of their players are older. Obviously, Kovacic and Gvardiol are coming into the team at that point, but they aren't good enough to challenge England in the group. You had the Czech Republic and Scotland, who aren't really on England's level in that group.
Yeah.
Then you had a Germany side who are coming off their 2018 debacle of a performance in the World Cup. And they were coming into like their team of the modern era, but then again, they went on to underperform in the 2022 World Cup also. Then they go up against Sweden in the No, Ukraine in the quarterfinals, apologies. And then Denmark in the semi-finals. These are teams that they should really be beating elementarily.
Yeah.
But they only beat them. They did beat Ukraine 4-0. They only beat Sweden. I mean, they beat Ukraine 4-0 and Denmark 2-1. And then went on to lose to Italy in the final. He decided, okay, we're going to score early and we're going to sit back. England should have went guns blazing and kept trying to score with the attacker talent that they had. But Gareth Southgate, as I said,
Time is up.
is a terrorist.
So because they had like one of the easiest runs, are you saying that it's that tournament is like overrated?
Over highly. I think it's overrated. Like England's position as one of the best teams, like international teams in the world, it might be a bit overstated. Yeah, first plus 3, yeah, let's
I
go.
was just trying to just give it some flavour. You know what I'm always thinking
Yeah.
about.
First plus 3, Joe.
First 3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. I'd ask you that. I mean, if you look at England in the 2018 World Cup, you could argue that, again, similarly, the run was quote unquote easier in terms of the teams they played. The only really big team they played was like Belgium and even Croatia. They're not massive, but they lost. So, I mean, I guess bigger picture, wouldn't it just be the case that England just aren't as good as we think, rather than they're a team that should be doing better against this caliber of team? Maybe they are not that much better than these teams than we think, given the way we've struggled against them mostly for the last 4 years.
You're right. I hear your point. However, England, look at the team. They've had the best, arguably the best striker in the world. Some of the arguably the 2 best right backs in the world. One of the best left backs in the world, Kieran Trippier. No, 3 of the best, nearly the best right backs in the world. Reece James, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Kyle Walker. Declan Rice, one of the best DMs in the world. Jude Bellingham now coming through. Bukayo Saka, one of the best right wings in the world. Phil Foden, one of the best players in the world. England should really be dunking on man the same way
Back
that
then,
France
did they
have
have
been.
all those players though?
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah. They didn't have Bellingham.
They still had Trent, they still had Reece James, they still had Kyle Walker.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
teams didn't make it to the tournament?
Did you not? Okay, fair enough. Injured, fair enough. But they still had 2 of the best right backs in the world.
Yeah.
Declan Rice, obviously, he was younger, but he was still a good player. Bukayo Saka still young, but Harry Kane, Phil Foden, they are great players in the side, and they were really underwhelming. And Marcus Rashford was performing well at the time. Also, Jadon Sancho coming off a good season at Borussia Dortmund.
It's a strong squad.
And they weren't really given like a real, like Jadon Sancho obviously wasn't really given a look in at all. The final on the penalty shootout.
Okay, fair. What implications does that have on this Euros coming up?
This year was coming. I feel like England will probably just get to the semi.
Or to be fair, that's a bit of a leading question away from your argument. What is the main punchline, I guess, after the fact that it was such an easy run for you? We spoke about
The
it
main
before.
punchline is England are not as good as everyone thinks they are. Or not as good as the English media may think they are. They're just, it's a good team, obviously great players individually, but Gareth Southgate can't get them over the line in order to win an international tournament.
Okay, but you can only play the teams.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
So how do you assess that? If they're beating the teams in front of them, they're beating the teams in front
They
of them.
didn't beat France, that was the team in front of them.
Okay, but that's fine. But you're saying that the run means that England are not as good as people think they are. No one thinks that England is better than France.
No, of course not.
But they've got this semi-final. They got to a final by beating the teams in front of them. So you can only assess them on who they played. They played Germany at the time. They beat Germany in the same vein. So I don't really understand where you're going with the argument.
So they can beat, I'm going with the argument is they can beat the teams in front of them, but when it came to the final, the big pressure, the team in front of them was arguably the weakest team that we've seen in the Euros final, other than in a while. Since Greece, I think. In a while. So
Italy?
Yeah, that's a very weak team.
Whenever they face anybody good, man.
That beat Spain.
Italy had a great run. They had a great run. They deserved to win the tournament.
I think the
But they
Portugal
were.
team
I don't
that
think they
when
won that
Ronaldo
good.
got injured, I don't know how that team won, to be honest. That team won great.
Yeah, that team was good. But the Italy team weren't great, bro.
It
This
won.
is
It
easy.
really weren't
The
great.
Italy team, that won the Euros
I mean,
last time. They weren't
they were
great.
bad.
No, but I mean,
They weren't great.
Italy as a national
weren't
team
great.
have been stinking up since 06, other than
England,
the
don't-
Euros.
England haven't beat anybody good.
I'm pretty sure under Mancini before the tournament they were undefeated for like
yeah, they were undefeated for some time.
But in previous tournaments, who have England beat that are good? That's his point.
Germany.
Germany.
That's it.
They were
Not the
meaty them
best-
times.
Not the best Germany.
But
team.
who have they played?
Anybody, whenever they face Italy, France, they knock them out. as
Belgium.
But these
Belgium.
I'm saying these are great teams they're playing.
Well. But
against.
anytime they play anybody
Yeah.
great, they lose.
But not who. Okay, well, I don't know. I'm arguing. With
I don't know
you.
why I'm arguing.
Sorry about
Yeah.
this.
But I just felt like you weren't like. I think he made that point.
Okay.
Yeah. So Audacity, I think that's where I had the problem with it because I feel like it was like okay, England had like a really easy run in the Euros, but it was like, what does that mean? And to be fair, you know me, I love my content, so I would have probably come in if I wasn't typing. I would have probably come in and made sure that I got a punchline before you started off. So I feel like there was no punchline to get us into it. I feel like as we started to argue like, as we started to grill you, we got into the fact that, okay, England over a kind of a consistent period of time have really failed to beat anybody good. So are they even that good and Southgate's a bum? Something along those lines. Are they even that good or Southgate's a bum? Which you were kind of saying a bit of both. So we didn't really get that. Credibility was fine for your argument, but it just wasn't like super strong. And explanation was fine as well. But I just felt like, you know, I like to get tied into a real rondo. You know, I just felt that the ball was passing at, you know, a bit of a slow pace, and I was trying to pick it up. So we gave it a 6 though. I don't think there was any problem with it though. I think what you said is true.
In terms of the ACE framework, I don't think it was audacious at all. I think it's quite a boring argument, I'll be honest with you.
Damn.
I don't think your explanation was very good because of the structure. It was quite jagged and it was up and down. There wasn't really a clear lining to your argument. Yes, it was credible in terms of the way you did present the argument, but I feel like you could have done a lot better there, especially I feel like you kind of failed with the rondo that you picked in the first place. You could have picked something a bit more interesting where it has a bit more room for you to explore and to convince us a bit further. So on that note, I'm going to give you a 5.
Damn. Oh, a 5 in the final. You don't want to be getting one of those.
It's like someone trying to go on stage after Michael Jackson. After my performance, what am I meant to do?
Okay. So,
You're an idiot.
Khadar, he got a 6 and a 5 for his take on England's run in the 2020 or 2021 Euros. Joe got the first 10 in the Engage the Rondo round from Marcus, and he got a 9.5 from myself for a flawless rondo. And he has absolutely wiped the floor with Khadar in this first round as he goes in with a 9.75 to Khadar's 5.5. So, let's go through into the second round. Withstand the rondo.
The second round is called Withstand the Rondo. In this round, things get a little bit more interesting. Contestants have to think on their feet and defend the take given to them by the judges. Let's step through how this will work. So the judges will reveal a take they have formed themselves or from the wider Rondo family and fan base. Contestants will have to defend the take for 60 seconds. And then of course, the Rondo will begin. Again, it will commence with first pass free as the judges instruct their rival contestant to ask a challenging question. Then the judges come in and the Rondo goes into full flow as they grill them further on their defense. They will then receive a score out of 10 from each judge for the second round utilizing the ACE framework: audacity, credibility, and explanation. The contestant score from each judge will then be averaged out of 10 and the winner will be announced for the second round.
So for you, Khadar, today is Vinicius will still deserve the Ballon d'Or despite any late charge from a European player in the tournament.
Okay,
Ooh, I like
I like that.
I wonder who helped you with that rondo.
Shut up, man. And your
Okay,
title.
cool. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
I feel like the two front runners other than Vinicius would be Mbappe and Bellingham. Mbappe I'm going to rule out straight away because of course he did win the league. However, PSG, winning the league for them is like doing 1+1. It's easy, it's free eats. So, and I don't believe he did enough. He lost to Borussia Dortmund side that were very, very good, granted this year. However, the investment that PSG have put in and the caliber of player they have, they should be at least putting up a challenge. They've really got dog walked in that semi-final fixture. So I think we could take Mbappe straight out of there. Even if he wins the Euros with France, France are one of the favourites, maybe the biggest favourite. So I don't think that that's gonna help him progress his claim. And Jude Bellingham started off the season on fire. He was going crazy. However, later on he did kind of peter off, and his performances in the later stage of the Champions League were underwhelming from the standards that he had set previously in the year. I just feel like Vinicius was a bit more integral in the running for Real Madrid, winning the Champions League and winning the Liga than Jude Bellingham.
Your time is up.
Cool. Not too bad, not too bad. All right. First pass free, Joe.
Well, I mean, throughout history, we've always seen like international trophies give a lot of weighting to Ballon d'Or winners. So if you look at Modric in 2018 when they won the World Cup, I feel like let's assume Vinicius, say Brazil don't win the Copa America, and you know, looking at the season that say Bellingham's had, or you know, another player, and they win the Euros. Say a team that was in the Champions League. So say like Bellingham, for example. Say they won the Champions League, they've won the Champions League, and say England win the Euros. You know, throughout history, if you win a Champions League and an international trophy in the same year, that gives you a lot of weighting for these Ballon d'Or rankings. So why would Vinicius, just for, you know, club achievements, win it if, you know, Ballon d'Or kind of looks at everything, really?
Okay, we're looking at everything. Vinicius was a lot more consistent than Bellingham, I believe, over the year. Or maybe Bellingham reached a higher peak at the start of the season. However, consistency is key.
But I think stats-wise, Bellingham had a better season, though.
I'm
British
not
season
too sure. I
stats-wise
haven't seen
wasn't
the
great.
stats.
Yeah. Stats wise, Jude was better.
I hear that, but then again, they also look at your performances in big games. Big games, Vinicius. Bellingham had a clear-cut chance, a bit of a tough angle, but he missed. Vinicius didn't. He scored, and I believe that. I just don't know. I feel like he moved me in a way that Bellingham didn't move me. And everyone watches football with their eyes, and sometimes your brain
Saying
can get
he
taken.
moved me, he's gonna love crap like that. That's an AA line, bro. You don't move me, you move me.
Hey man, you got to pander to the judges
You know what I mean?
sometimes. But I just feel like Vinicius has just a slight edge, even if Bellingham maybe goes on to
Does it
win
not depend
the
on
Euros.
So, I hear your argument, but does it not depend on how Bellingham performs over the Euros? If he cooks and England win, doesn't that mean that? And given the fact that he was the La Liga's best player, he won that award. Wouldn't that really tip the Ballon d'Or in his favour?
It may do. However, I just don't see Bellingham doing what is necessary for him to bridge the gap.
Oh, you don't think he'll even do it? Oh,
I think he's a great player. However, we've seen
man.
we've seen him peter off in recent months, and I just don't feel like he's gonna have to put his stamp on the England team. I feel like another player might do that. Your Phil Fodens of the world, your Bukayo Saka's, your Harry
Mbappe
Kane's.
did that for France though.
Possibly, however, he didn't. What did he do in the Champions League? And he won the league, true say, but PSG winning the league, you cannot be given credit for that. That is insane work if he wins the Ballon d'Or off of a PSG Europa League win and a France Euros.
Okay. Insane. I think that's a drag, but no, you did
For
all
what
right.
it's worth, I think.
Marcus, you want to start?
I agree.
You're tired, isn't it?
Given the ACE framework, the argument I wouldn't say was too challenging. I feel like most people believe that Vinicius is gonna somehow win the Ballon d'Or. I do like your explanation of it and how you brought up different players such as Bellingham, such as Mbappe, and your argument was coherent and it did make sense. And based on that, I'm going to give you a 7.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite similar to Marcus in regards to his assessment of your Rondo. I think the only thing that I would add was just that. I think everything was pretty strong. I think maybe just could have been a little bit more punchy in terms of what you were saying. Like, I think towards the end when you're saying I don't think Bellingham, even though I kind of pushed you there and said what if Bellingham really does cook in the Euros? You said I don't think he'll be able to do it in the levels that we've seen Vinicius do. I think kind of statements like that, which are a bit more definitive, would have given you the ability to score higher. But it was a strong argument, which I kind of believe to a good level. So I'm giving it a 7. Solid performance. Well done.
Joel, are you ready?
Sorry, yes.
So it's a bit interesting one, but your Rondo for today is Foden will top Rooney's 2004 Euro tournament.
What are you giving me that for? Rooney was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Okay.
As well as I was going to add Gascoigne's tournament as well. But
Whoa.
let me leave.
Whoa.
Why are you doing this to me?
I didn't do that.
Whoa.
You know, they even came out with a documentary about England losing to France. BBC, they released one just because Rooney was playing so well then. The PR is crazy.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you nutmegs it down.
So I'm going to repeat it. Foden to top Rooney's 2004 Euro tournament. And your time starts in
3.
Okay, well, first off, they're different positions, so I'm not going to say Foden's going to score goals, as many goals maybe as Rooney did, because I think Rooney scored 4 goals in that Euros. But in terms of where they are at the stages in their careers, Rooney really burst into the scene about a year and a half before that. So it was around 2002, maybe 2 years just before that. Foden's been around for quite a long time. He's really embedded himself into the England system. He is our best player. Whereas, in Euro 2004, we didn't know who our best player was. In terms of talent, in terms of like the performance of this season, I would say him and Bellingham have been the 2 best players, along with Kane. But I think at the time, Rooney wasn't maybe the clear-cut best player. We got to know what his abilities were. I think Foden, off the back of the season he's won the Footballer of the Year. I think he'll win the PFA Player of the Year as well. I think he's come into it on a lot of confidence, and he feels like for the first time in his career, he really does have a big input in like the way Man City play and the way Man City affect games, and he's become a massive game player. I think in the tournament, I think he'll lead the England attack. Like I feel like in the middle phase, if he plays in the midfield free, if he plays out wide, he has the ability, and he's learnt from his time with Pep Guardiola that he can take control of games, take the pressure off Kane, and get goals and assists. So I feel he'll be England's best player in this tournament.
Okay. Cool. All right. Khadar?
First pass free.
You spoke about his performances this season at his at club level. However, at international level, he's always underwhelmed. And Rooney came onto the scene. He was a gunman for his club, for his country. So how do you see Foden improving from his previous performances in international tournaments and even in international friendlies to do what, surpass what Rooney did in 04?
Yeah. I think, first of all, Foden's matured a lot over the last few years. I think since the last World Cup. I remember at the time of the last World Cup, I believe Saka was a better player because I think in that recent year or so of work, I think Saka had done more than Foden. But I feel like part of that was because Foden wasn't playing in his perfect position every week, and also he wasn't in the team every week. I think as soon as City started to, I mean, they sold Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne got more injuries. They started to rely less on Bernardo Silva and started to give Foden the keys more in matches. You see the confidence in him grow. His shoulders, he grew in his shoulders, and he started to perform like a big game player. He started to perform like a De Bruyne. You start to look at it and say, De Bruyne's coming off after 60 minutes in the cup final, but Foden's still on the pitch. Why? Because he's been trusted. So I feel like he has the confidence now. If he goes into the Euros and Southgate gives him the similar trust, that's a big if. But if he gives him that similar trust and says, just do your thing like you done at City, I feel like he can shine. Whether he plays left wing, whether he plays left centre mid, I think he can carry that attack.
If he's playing left wing and he's not in central areas, as you said, where you feel like he needs to be for to perform at his highest level, how will he be better than Rooney?
Because, I mean, the way England's set up, if he plays, first of all, he plays left centre mid, he's going to be the one really leading the playmaking from like the middle phase to the final phase. Because
I said, what if he plays left wing?
Yeah, let me get that. Okay. Yeah, so he's going to be doing it in that sense. If he plays left wing, we're implying it's a 4-2-3-1, right?
Yeah.
Again, if you look at the two pivot players, they're not players that I would necessarily say would be like the quarterback of that team trying to, run attacks from deep. So again, Foden will be expected to do a lot of the carrying of the ball and the playmaking because I don't think Bellingham's that type of player and I don't think Rice and Mainoo are those kind of players as well. So I feel like in terms of getting goals and assists, I think he'll get assists purely off of playmaking alone. And I feel like he has now got an eye for goal. He's a great shooter. And I feel like off the left-hand side, cut into the box, bang it, Sterling style last Euros. I think that Foden can do that. So I feel like he'll get his fair share. I think he's going to get 6 GA. I'll say 6 GA.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. I don't mind starting. Audacity. I think it was a pretty audacious claim to argue for. I think, Rooney was really good in that 04 tournament. It was like a historical tournament. Foden has never really hit it for England, despite the fact that, at club level, he's starting to come into his own, which is a big factor, which you explained well, which comes on, I'm going to kind of skip, I guess, the credibility point, but go to the explanation, because I think you explained that really well, and kind of overall kind of explained Foden's like capabilities and the season that he's had and how coming into his own means that, it's likely that he could really turn up for England. And in terms of credibility-wise, I think it's fairly credible because of that explanation that you gave overall. Like, I believe that at the end, Foden could really go on and have the tournament of tournaments. The only thing that I think you should have mentioned was that I think it was a big thing that as good as Rooney was in that tournament, England went out to Portugal in like the last 16 or quarterfinals. So basically, so he didn't really I feel like a semi-final, even final, that really is like a more would have made that much more historical. I think England have a good chance because of how good the rest of the team, in comparison to other teams as well, to get into a semi-final and a final, which would make that tournament more, or even winning, which would make that tournament more historic. Because he didn't really make that point, I was always thinking in the back of my head, I ain't not making this, man. So I'm giving it a 7 overall.
I'm in agreement with what A says. The only thing I would add to what he said is that I would have liked, although you mentioned Rooney's 4 goals, there wasn't a lot of comparison. You didn't talk about Rooney's Euro season enough to tell me why Foden's could be better.
Because he was very good.
Well, you could have gone into a bit more like what aspects of Foden's games would be better directly in comparison to Rooney, which would have made the argument a bit more round. Apart from that, I do feel it was very well structured, and I feel like you benefit from talking really well. Sometimes you aren't actually saying anything, but you do talk really well, so it kind of...
That sounds like an insult.
It is.
Eye test.
That kind of helps the argument. Yeah, eye test. That's it. I'm going to give you an
8.
There's
No direct comparisons.
Give for that
No
gap,
mention of the tournament.
Give for the gap, man.
That is generous. You just like his Joe just draws you in with his debate style, man. He argues like he's in a uni seminar.
Politician.
All right, cool. After the second round, a lot tighter this round. So, Khadar scored a 7 and a 7 across the board with an average of a 7. But Joe, again, just pips ahead of him with a 7 and an 8, which I thought was quite generous from Marcus, but we are where we are. And he goes in with a 7.5. So, Joe, going in ahead, going into the final round, conquer the Rondo.
Conquer the Rondo. In this round, it's all put on the line. The final round of the Rondo Show. Contestants go head to head in the quiz to decide on the winner, but of course there are some twists. They are asked 10 questions. We start with 2 word association questions, dubbed 2 touch and 1 touch. In the 2 touch round, contestants will compete in football word association, having 5 seconds to deliver their answer. In the 1 touch, contestants will only have 3 seconds to deliver their answer. Contestants will then be given a buzzer and go into typical head-to-head questions. However, there are still more twists. Contestants can be asked difficult split questions, where it may be in their interest to work together, as if neither succeed in answering the question in 30 seconds, they will both be docked 2 points should they proceed to the next round. Contestants can also be asked special nutmeg questions. These ones are a real stitch up. The question will be about one of the contestants' teams, and if they allow their rival contestant to get it, they will be docked 5 points. Because why are you letting another man know about your team? At the end of all the 10 questions, the round is complete. Scores will be tallied and the winner for the overall fixture will be announced.
The topic is any capped French forward.
All right, let's go, man.
And we're going to start with... Who wants to start first?
I'll start.
Okay, we'll start with Khadar.
Kylian Mbappe.
Dembele,
Henri.
Griezmann,
Trezeguet.
Giroud,
Just Fontaine.
Sidney Govey,
Platini.
Louis Saha,
Giroud.
He said,
I didn't realize it said Giroud. I wasn't listening. Oh, I'm cooked.
the Italy Euro 2020 squad.
I ain't got that, man.
All right.
Cool.
Okay, I'm going to start with you, Joel. So, go on.
Donnarumma,
Ferrari.
Spinazzola,
Chiesa.
Locatelli,
Chiellini.
Bonucci,
Immobile.
3.
Pellegrini,
Di Lorenzo.
Wait, did you say Pellegrini?
me. Was Lorenzo Pellegrini not squad?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he wasn't? Oh, okay, cool. No. Joe loses that round. And Khadar wins
Pellegrini
it.
won that squad.
No.
Might have been a bit
He's a
young
bad
for
boy.
that squad,
He's
maybe.
a bad boy, no? You should be in this squad.
Roma, innit?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, no, he's a good player.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought he was in. I didn't even question
Is
it.
he not in this squad?
You
He's in the
could
squad
have
this
said
year.
Insigne,
Insigne.
Berardi, Belotti.
Did anyone say Jorginho?
Nah. I forgot about
crazy.
J12.
That's crazy.
That's my guy as well.
Cristante, Barella, Emerson
No one said
Palmieri,
Barella.
But I,
Florenzi,
Like, when you're in there though, like
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
the
no,
France
different.
forwards, you forget.
yeah,
people.
bro, you're forgetting guys.
Sirigu, Murray.
That's what I'm saying. There wasn't.
Sirigu was in the squad. What?
Okay, I've actually
it's
got
not that
I've got
bad.
a bonus 1 touch. Like,
All right.
Do we have time?
yeah, it's fine. They're gonna flop off the second name.
All right, cool.
Okay, now you're challenging us.
Yeah,
Literally,
bro.
I just wanted to see the knowledge. in
Let's
it.
go.
So now we got
So
Yeah, we got show levels.
Denmark 1992 squad. I want to test the ball knowledge. All right, cool. I'm gonna start with you, Khadar.
All right, cool. Brian Laudrup.
John Jensen.
Peter Schmeichel.
That's all I know. I don't know because his brother went in the squad.
3, 2,
I don't know.
1.
To be honest.
Okay. But
Did you have anybody else, Khadar?
No. Who did you say? Ronnie Johnson?
John Jensen.
I have no idea who that is.
I was gonna
played for
try to
us.
say Loud Drops on the
fans.
brother, but you said
He
it's not in
did,
the
yeah.
squad.
No, Michael wasn't. He was famously not in the squad. He was chilling on the beach somewhere.
The Henrik Larsson from back then.
Henrik Larsson was
not
Swedish,
Danish,
brother.
bro.
From back then, there was a Henrik Larsson.
Oh, there
So,
was
so
a-
how are we supposed to know who that is?
How are we meant to know? These men all got the same
Anybody
names
else
over
got
there.
spade?
Question number 1.
Oh shit, it's the buzzer thing.
Buzzer,
Oh, buzzer,
yeah.
yeah, get your buzzers ready.
Alright, let's go.
In which decade was the idea of pan-European football tournament first?
1930s.
Incorrect.
1940s.
Incorrect.
Oh.
It's the 20s.
20s, innit?
Ah.
I just think, actually, 1940s, they were in World War II. I should have gone the other way. There was no European, pan-European, nothing back then.
Okay. Question number 2. Who scored
Question number 5, bro. Overall.
Okay. Number 5. Who scored Denmark's 2 goals in the final in 1992?
Okay, so John Jensen scored the first one. I'm trying to remember. Is this guy's name like Vilforts or something?
Correct.
Oh my day!
I'm trying to remember the commentary because you know
Hey,
what,
bro,
yeah.
you know you're a dweeb. You're a dweeb. Hey, how do you know that?
How do you know that?
No, because you know what?
How
yeah?
do you know that?
I remember as a kid, yeah, watching like
You weren't-
highlights of old Euros, innit? So like
Fair
2000,
enough.
2004.
Fair.
And I remember just seeing a commentator saying a name, and it was. I remember John Jensen because he played for Arsenal, innit? So I
Yeah.
remember, he scored. But I remember a name, and it sounded like Wiltord, and I was trying to figure out what it was, and it was like
Vilfort, you're
Vilfort.
right.
Nah, that is
So after we did the
sensational.
Denmark thing, I was thinking,
enough.
wait, I feel like there's another guy
Fair
there.
enough,
innit?
bro.
No, that is sensational.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not gonna lie.
sensational
Hey,
work.
my
I can't lie,
guy,
that-
this is the Rondo.
Hey, I'm cooked.
Ball knowledge.
All right, cool. Question number
These are true finalists, man.
6.
What are you talking about, man? Come on, man.
8 teams qualified for the 1980 finals, hosted by Italy. Which team emerged as the eventual champion?
Was it West Germany?
Correct. Khadar!
Kadar!
Wake up, man.
Wake
This is what I'm
up,
doing
bro.
to everyone
Finals.
else.
Yeah.
This is what I've been doing to everyone else. I'm
Step up. We've
cooked,
been
bro.
seeing you, bro.
Finals,
Step up.
Can I do, man?
And challenge him,
I'm
bro.
my match.
Show him what you're on.
Final, man.
Fuck it all.
Yeah.
How many goals did Dutch striker Marco van Basten score in Euro 1992?
6.
Incorrect.
In Euro 88,
1992.
1982.
Yeah.
Was he in that tournament?
Yeah.
I think they went like 2.
No, correct. Goes to Kadar.
And this one, I'm going to give it to the closest, whoever goes.
4.
Incorrect.
That's
One?
it.
One?
Goes. It went one
He
way
was-
that
yeah.
way.
He started first.
He started, then it went to him, then he goes back to him, and then that's it. Innit?
Okay, the answer is 0.
I was gonna say 0.
Scored 0, so it's him. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got 2. I didn't even know. I thought his knees were done by
Yeah,
that
I didn't
point.
even think he was in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. David Trezeguet scored a golden.
Italy.
Incorrect.
I thought he was
I
going to
rate
say
it,
against
though.
2. Against
I rate
2.
it, though.
I had to try and get something.
David Trezeguet scored a golden goal to win Euro 2000. What other player has done this before?
Oh, which player?
Yeah.
Beerhoff.
Correct. Hey, this guy is so cold. This guy is so cold.
Oh man, it's a sweet man. It's a sweet
man.
man. Here, man.
Mad.
Niggas are going to start doing the Meek Mill get up, bro. I'm finished.
Okay. Host nation France won the 1984 tournament to win their first European title. Which player was the top scorer with 9 goals?
9 goals.
Yeah,
Platini.
correct.
Oh, he scored 9. Oh, sorry,
Cold.
9 goals, though.
I didn't know he
one
scored
tournament.
9. That's a
What's
mad
this
thing.
guy cooking?
This is the last question.
He wasn't even a striker.
Yeah,
So you're on. Oh yes, of course. Yeah, you had the bonus question. Yeah.
Okay, these questions are a bit easier, so it's going to be first to the. I'm going to give you a warning first to the buzzer. Which 2 English players scored their penalties in Euro 2022?
Harry Kane, Harry Maguire.
Correct.
Cold. That was quick. That was quick. You didn't even let him finish the
I had
question.
to get
man.
respect. I had to get some respect back.
You only get
Like,
some
you know
respect.
you're a top team. Like you have to show them
You have
something.
to show them.
Yeah,
I
have to
can
show them
play. I
that.
can
Yeah.
play.
Like, yeah.
Constellation goal.
Okay, final question. Ready? Who will be the host nations of Euro 2028?
And it Portugal, Spain, and did Ukraine slapping themselves? No, is it Portugal, Spain, and Turkey?
Incorrect.
You said Ukraine anyway. Yeah. Goes to you, Kadar.
And Portugal and Spain.
Correct.
I have no idea.
It's England, Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland.
Oh, is that 28?
Oh, they weren't even.
Oh, I'm thinking about the World Cup then. I think I'm
Wait,
thinking of one.
England's hosting the Euros in Fair, I didn't know that.
Not just England. England, Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland, or the
Yeah, but
British
we'll get the
Islands.
final,
The
don't we?
Britain, yeah, the
Not
Great
even
Britain.
Britain, Republic of Ireland as well.
As well, okay, fair enough. British Isles.
Time players make big time plays.
Ooh, Kadar, you got swept, you know.
Big
I
time
got
players.
dunked on, bro. It's peak.
Hey, you got
Big time
swept.
I'm gonna need to get my. I'm gonna have to take a few weeks out. Do what Anthony Joshua done. Go sit in a dark room for a bit.
Hey, you got
Telling you,
swept,
Tom
my
Brady
bro.
when he gets the Super Bowl, bro, he don't waste no time.
And the thing is, because Joe kind of
won all
cleaned you
other
up on the
rounds
Rondos as well. Hey,
Smack me in a Rondo. Smack
got
me in
six
the.
Six touchdowns, no
hey,
interceptions.
this is Crawford Errol Spence.
Crazy.
Yeah, bro. Niggas thought it was niggas thought this was a matchup. Mismatch.
Mismatch.
Nah, but it's a good,
Nah,
it's a
good
good
play,
tussle.
man.
It's a
Nah,
good
man.
tussle.
No, hard though. Wait, let me just. To start off with, Khadar, not the strongest first round, scored an average of 5.5 with a bit of a woolly argument about England's run in the 2020 Euros, which I felt had the potential to really be quite a strong Rondo. He then worked it back and got an average of 7s, just behind Joel for that round, defending the Rondo about, what was he defending?
It's still in my mind now.
Slipped my mind now.
Oh, Vinicius.
Yeah,
Defending the Vinicius,
the Ballon d'Or,
Vinicius to win
yeah.
the Ballon d'Or. And then he was slapped up in the last round with a score of 2. So he has an overall score of 14.5. Joel.
I don't know what we're
We have to
clapping.
clap for our first runners.
Runner-up, man.
Joel, wow.
Oh,
This was a Rondo performance for the ages. This will be one that will go down in history. Joel scored a 9.75.
Tell him again.
And our first 10 in that round for his Engage the Rondo round
Say what else, Chuck?
on France.
Say what else, Chuck?
He then scored a 7.5 in his second round.
Not too good.
A solid second round, which still put him an edge ahead. And then he beat, embarrassed,
Demolished.
mauled, dominated,
Buried.
buried,
You man, what is this? Is this Thesaurus? Is this Thesaurus or something? You man are doing
set
up.
levels
Is this Quillbot? You man are doing up uni.
to Khadar in the last round
guy
with
will
an
hear
8
this
to
as
2,
nightmares.
where I thought Khadar would work it back. So he has an overall score of 25.7.
No.
That's the highest overall score we've had on the
25
Rondo.
point-
Hey man.
Listen, you want to step on a
2-5.
Rondo with me?
25.25 to 14.5.
You gotta get
Joel
20
wins it. He
minimum.
is our Euro
Hey.
winner.
He's
My
the
man.
champion.
He is
Well
the
done,
champion.
Joe.
Yeah man.
That's two and two in it as well.
No, I didn't.
Oh, he didn't do it. He did
This
it.
episode,
Khadar did it.
this episode ain't seen the light of day. I'm hacking into the Rondo media headquarters.
Listen, this is a warning to all Rondo cast members, bro. You gotta get at least 20 with me. Because you know what I mean? It gets the trivia, it's a lot now.
Hey man.
Step your game. Well done, Khadar.
Well done, bro.
No, hard, bro,
Well played,
hard.
man, that was class.